Okay, so the next segment that we are going to be working on is going to be more traditional strength training with the sets and reps that you're familiar with. We're also going to be working on some non-traditional strength training as well, but for now, the first thing that I want to do is I want to give Gil the stage so that he can share one of his favorite secrets using the original strength stuff that we used in the mobility section, and how to use it to increase your overall strength in traditional exercises and non-traditional ones. So we're going to talk in particular about an issue that a lot of people have when it comes to strength training due to the fact that they sit a lot, and that's a glute recruitment, or reglutement, we might be able to call it. So I'm going to have Gil do this, and I'll think of bad puns on my own. So tell him a little bit about how to use some of the original strength resets to recruit the glutes and how to apply that to a hip thrust.
Okay, original strength can help in many ways. It can help you regain your strength that you lost and connect the body and balance the midline and many other things. It actually changed my life thanks to Alex. My back is much healthier and I'm much stronger, and my reflexes, no matter which kind, are much better. So we're going to show you the hip thrust, and we're going to show you how to supercharge the glutes through a reset of original strength. It's the segmental roll from the prone position from the leg. So I'm going to lie on my stomach, hands are upward upon my head. I'm going to take my foot and lift it hard and trying to bring it to the other side, and I'm stopping here. What I want to feel is my glute contracted, and I can touch it with the opposite hand. What it does, except from the fact that it activates the glute, it releases the hip flexors of the hip on the other side of the joint, which can help you generate much more force in the hip drive, which is a necessary thing for any kind of strength exercise that involves the hips. Okay.
And it's one of the things too, thank you very much, Gil. So one of the things that I especially like about this is that, your glutes really just can't get too strong, and there can't be too many things that you use them for. I mean, even in pull-ups, if you learn how to use your glutes in pull-ups, it really helps you to pull yourself up higher. So something like this is not good just for somebody who's, sitting a lot and needs a little bit more glute activation techniques, that sort of a thing. It's going to work especially well for what we're about to do here, because it's going to be a nice mixture of the reflexive tension that you get from all of the exercises or all the movements, I should say, in original strength, as well as all of the exercises that you're going to do in traditional strength training. So if you look at traditional strength training as being something that requires a lot of feed-forward tension, where you deliberately generate tension within your muscles, and then you think too about the athletic side of things, where you generate the tension that you need without really thinking a lot about it. You could look at that as like a reflexive tension. Now you can recruit both of these into like a traditional strength exercise. It allows you to build a lot more strength with a lot fewer reps. So if your recovery is not so great because life's getting in the way, or if you're very short on time to train and you can't do as many repetitions, combining those two things will help you to make sure that your strength continues to build as time goes on, and it'll also allow you to maintain good movement patterns. And in particular, when we're talking about strength that's going to last for a long amount of time, two of the things that we're going to want to think about, and two of the things that the traditional strength training can target very well, is core strength as well as glute strength. Okay, so going off of what Gil just did right here, we're also going to do the hip thrust, as he mentioned, and you're going to do it with a kettlebell. So Gil is going to demonstrate the technique here. And we're going to start putting together some of the principles that we just talked about, and I'll walk you through what we're going to do. So what he's going to do is he's going to get the kettlebell right about at or below the belly button. For God's sake, do not put it any lower, okay? Now what he's going to do is he's going to press up into the sky, good, and he's going to lower down slowly. So this part is important because a lot of people just kind of drop and then they miss the negative portion of this exercise. Go ahead and go back up. Good. And then at the top, he's squeezing the glutes. He's also squeezing the abs. So one good cue that I like to use is like you're pushing your abs against the kettlebell, so that makes sure that you keep the abs tight. Lowers down slowly, presses back up. Another one that I like quite a bit, because sometimes I'll feel this in my knees, is I imagine I'm trying to pull my heels toward the couch. Okay? And then he's going to come back down. And that helps me not only get more glute recruitment, but also helps to recruit the hamstrings secondarily as well. And then he's going to come back down nice and slowly and relax. It's not a super technical move, but there are a couple of nuances that you want to keep in mind, and those are a couple of them. Again, particularly as you get fatigued, I would really recommend that you have that you try to pull your heels toward you as you do it, so that you can make sure that you're not using the quads or anything like that. You're not compensating, but rather that you're really using the glutes and that you're also getting the hamstrings involved. Doing a lot of these, I found that even just if I would do one set before a set of swings, my swings felt light years better, a lot smoother, a lot snappier. So a movement like this, even in place of swings, let's say for whatever reason you just need some variety or whatever, this is huge in terms of really grooving the swing without having to do boatloads and boatloads of swings. Okay, so with that said, once you've done that, we're going to do kind of the opposite, and we're going to work on the core instead. My personal preference for core work is the L-sit, because it also works on your scapular stability, and it really helps to recruit the upper body muscles in the core movement, and it does so very strongly. All right. So Gil is going to show you a demonstration of the L-sit, but we're going to imagine that because this program is going to be really going to push you in terms of this traditional strength building. One of the things you might find is that, let's say you do have the flexibility to do the full L-sit, but you're not necessarily going to be able to do it for the 5 to 10 seconds for each set that's required. So he's going to show you how to do them in bursts. So he's going to come over here, and what he's going to do is he's going to set up in position, and he's going to do it for maybe 2 seconds at a time. So he's going to lift up, get real tight, and then relax, and then lift up, get really tight, and then relax. This also helps you with learning how to do kind of this on and off switch with your strength. So he's going to build up to a total of 10 seconds. So he might do, let's say, 5 sets of 2 seconds like that. And then he'll relax as much as possible in between, press down hard and squeeze as much tension out of it as he can possibly get, and then relax. Now, if for some reason this just doesn't sit well with you, then the next best variation, which we really can't demonstrate here because we don't have the proper equipment, but it would be, and you could do it on a couple of sturdy chairs or really sturdy table, would be to do the same thing but with the knees bent. So you would be, let's say, in this position, pressing down really hard, and then you would lift up to about a halfway point like that, hold for 10 seconds, and likewise you can do the burst that he did where you lift up, hold for 2 to 3 seconds, and then relax. And it works very, very well. Now, as far as the upper body stuff, I've made a number of videos about the upper body strength movements that are applied in this particular program. I'll include a link also to some of the previous tutorials that I've done. So we're not going to cover them here. But what we are going to cover next is going to be the rough strength edition that is going to really help to make this program stand out. And what I'm talking about in particular is going to be the carries and the crawls. So that's what we're going to cover next.